Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right, it's Your Impact Attack. New year, same thing. We keep trying to give it to you, you keep giving it back. And yes, we are here. And who is we? We is Jamie the Vet Williams, and with me, as always, is my perfunctory co-host, Brandon. All right, and I don't know if we're gonna pause for intros anymore in the new year. That's old shit. I don't know if this is. But Brandon, I'm just so happy to actually be here live on the Impact Attack tonight because, as of even minutes ago, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I just didn't. So before I get into that, how was your New Year's? How was your holidays? How have you been? How's everything?
It's been going pretty well. Had a pretty quiet New Year. Kind of celebrated myself a little bit.
Okay, all right. Did you make sure to wash your hands after you celebrate with yourself?
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
with the
He's nodding.
maybe might have been with the same stuff.
Okay, all right. Yes, that's good. Yeah.
Jello
So just
pudding. Get the Jello pudding.
so so yeah. Definitely. Good to have a safe New Year. I hope everybody else did as well. I was at work. In fact, let me, before I get into that, I saw a comment. Let me roll back the comments. We can acknowledge the chat if you'd like to start with here. Go ahead
Let's
and
do it.
yeah. All right. So, well, here's who I see. You tell me if I miss anybody. We got Buckshot Kid in the house, right? It
Whoop,
wouldn't
whoop.
be. He makes sure to get his hello in probably like the day before and then go back to doing whatever he was doing for however many hours and then pop back in at the end just so he could be first. And we got Lab Rat. He's testing 2023 for us. So, let us know how that goes. Canada Spaceman is here. And his comment. I was not really expecting an impact attack as it was a best of 2022 this week. So, as usual, the great Canada Spaceman it's like he doesn't even know the people that he's a fan of. When have we ever not given you an impact attack for any reason, including power outages and cable outages, which I will shortly get to, but let's finish acknowledging the chat. We have Javi Uchiha here. Did anyone see that top dollar Ricochet diss? I don't know, but we've got a better diss to talk about. And of course, Lisbeth is also here. So, that is who I see. Have I missed anyone?
Nope, the whole gang's here. Whoop whoop.
All right, and maybe we'll get some more gangsters to come in with this. All right. So, let me tell you, Canada Spaceman and everyone. Let me tell you how my New Year's went.
Hang on, let me get a bag. Let me get my popcorn.
All right. Just Brandon getting popcorn here, and he's settling in now, and it looks like he's got it for those of you listening on audio only. Okay. So, December 31st, I wake up to go to work at the normal time. No, actually a little bit earlier, and it's a good thing I did. Because it's pitch black and there's no I can't hear anything, I can't see anything. The power has gone out. Now, it's been raining for like several days in a row, and if you have some high-end audio equipment, you can probably hear it raining right now. But there was rain and wind storms for the past several days, and wouldn't you know, the power went out in several spots in the neighborhood. It didn't seem to make sense where on the grids that the power had gone out because as I'm going to work, I can see the on one side of the street there is it's completely blacked out, and on the other side they've still got their Christmas lights up and they're all working just fine. So like this is scattered around different areas on the grid here. So that was supposedly the power had gone out around 8 p.m. of December 31st in my area. Okay? So I go to work. I come back home. Okay. The power doesn't come back on until sometime after 7:30 p.m. So it's almost a full 24 hours that the power is out. All right. So I spent my New Year's when it wasn't at work or taking refuge at somebody's house for a couple hours in the cold and dark, trying to sleep through it and hope that the power comes back on. I hope that the food in the fridge doesn't spoil and all this other stuff. That's how I spent my New Year's. Then, of course, when the power does finally come back on now, my Comcast internet service is not going to come on. That's understandable. I mean, I'm sure if there's outages for some, there's probably outages for others. So it may take a while to get this stuff up and running, but at least I now have power so that I can charge my phone at least and do everything through the phone. And let me tell you, if all I had was a phone, I could have maybe done an impact attack tonight, but because of the potential quality of the Wi-Fi signals and everything, it probably may not have been the best. It may have still been better than like some of the Spectrum services you guys have been seeing from Ben Hameen and whatever, but I still would rather have a quality product for you guys. But because it was an impact recap, like Canada Spaceman so succinctly pointed out, I thought, you know what, I'll just make it up to him next time. Because we don't really have to talk about it, and we're gonna have a nice, probably what are we gonna is it gonna be next week that we have like the big show with Hard to Kill, or is that the week after?
That is, looking at my calendar, that's the week after.
All right, but anyway, yeah. So that was a concern, and so I let Brandon know ahead of time, a little peek behind the curtain. I was like, hey, look, if my power doesn't fucking come back on, then, or my internet, that is, doesn't come back on, then maybe we just, we just won't do it this week. Those are the things that are facing, not to disparage anyone else at Hameen Media Group, but those are the issues that determine whether I do a show or not. It's whether I physically can, or electronically can. I don't miss shows. I haven't missed shows. And I'm not going to miss any shows in 2023 or beyond if I can help it. If everybody cooperates with me. So anyway, that's that. I'm letting him know, like, all right, here we go. This is the situation. May not have my internet back. It's already been 16 hours since the power came back on, so you could have definitely been working on it this whole time. Hopefully they'll get to it. In the meantime, I thought, well, let me try some customer service and see how it goes. I look in the morning, like after I send that message to Brandon saying, hey, maybe no impact attack, I look on the Comcast outage map, and they're definitely reporting issues in my area. So I'm thinking, okay, well, let's hope, we'll cross our fingers. Hopefully they'll get it fixed in time. So later on, I check again, and now the outage map is saying, yep, your area is good. No outages reported. And I'm looking at everything in my house that's saying the opposite thing. And I'm like, I disagree. So I start trying to get through to their customer service, And the first thing that they want you to do, anybody that would have Comcast know this, is they want you to, type your issue into a chat thing and then let their AI solve the chat for you. They've got an automated, like, troubleshooting service where they can tell you, like, so you're, did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in? Okay, well, now that you've done that, we can send a signal to your devices or whatever. So I'm saying, like, okay, all right, fine, send the signal, because that maybe that's it. There was a big power outage, huge thing, like a lot of hundreds of thousands of customers out of power in my area. So certainly, maybe the signal just that'll be just the thing to like refresh all the equipment. You know, maybe that'll work. So I tell the bot to send the signal. The bot says they can't detect my modem. I'm like, but you said there's no issues in my area. Everything's fine, right? So I'm like, all right, fine. Let me talk to a person. Let me talk to an outsourced person from, East Asia or something. So the person is like, I get the chat person in the chat. There's no point in calling them because you wait. If you call the customer service and try to get a hold of a person, it's still an ordeal. But if you do finally get a person, you end up getting a lot of people. You end up in a lot of waiting rooms and, in queues waiting for people to answer your call. And then when you get there, it's the same thing as a chat anyway. So you always do the chat. That's the pro tip. Now, the non-pro tip, the amateur tip is the chat can't really do much for you other than, Pradeep could tell me, and I'm not making that up. That's the actual name that I got, or one of them, just so everybody knows. But, Pradeep tells me to basically unplug it and plug it back in. And I'm like, we're beyond that. And they're like, well, we're not showing any outages reported. And I'm saying, motherfucker, I'm reporting an outage. And can you connect me to a supervisor so we don't have to do this? Like, is there somebody that's not going to read from a script that I can explain the situation maybe and they'll understand it? So I get a supervisor. Okay. The supervisor, his name is Aaron, but it's not spelled like you think. And this person now tells me in much better English or whatever, the same exact thing. Like, these people cannot get past did you unplug it and plug it back in? And they're always trying to confirm your identity. Like, can you give me the name on the account? Can you confirm the MAC address on your routers? Are you renting your router or do you have your own router? Like, all this shit. I know you know all of this shit because you can see everything on your computers. I know this because this is not my first rodeo. So stop asking me these stupid questions. Stop waiting for the point in the script where you get to say your line about, can you unplug your modem or reset your router or whatever, those things that any normal person would have done long time ago before they called you. And I know they probably deal with a high volume of idiots who really do not know how to plug in their modems and routers and other things like that. So this is why you can write a script like this for these people to follow. But I'm just trying to explain to them that I understand that there's a lot of idiots out there, but nothing changed in my house or in my life other than the power went out in my city. And it took a while to come back on, and that may be affecting the thing. You're telling me you're not seeing an outage. I'm telling you there is an outage. I'm reporting the thing you're not seeing. That's what reported outages means. I'm reporting it. I don't know who else to report it to. When you go to look up how to report an outage, it reroutes me to where I am now. So I'm here, and I'm telling you, when's my shit going to get fixed? And then when they can't do anything, which is always, they say they're going to send the technician. The next technician would have been available like a day from then, what I'm talking about. And I'm just like, that doesn't work for me. Okay. Not only, what am I supposed to do for the whole day where I don't have my services for the third day now? Is there nobody I can talk to in the meantime to do this? So I just hang up on the chat agent. I'm just like, you people are all useless. I don't even know why you have this job. Because you're not going to do anything or you're not going to connect. And I've done stuff in the past where like talking lab rat, talking to help centers, like talking to indie wrestlers, got to stick to the script. Yeah, exactly.
Call it in the ring. What's that?
Yeah. Call it in the ring. Call on a phone. What even is that? Like they don't seem to get it. They just don't seem to get it. It's really frustrating, but I've gone through all this. Having Comcast for a number of years, you've done everything. The service is usually great after the rough patch of getting it installed the first time and having to explain to them a bunch of times about certain things. And then they finally like get it in order. And then they just, go about a beautiful routine of overcharging you for consistent service. but at least it's consistent. So I guess that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the fact that you don't have to do this that often, or you shouldn't. And so, you know, in the past, it'd be like you'd call somebody up and they would tell you the same thing. It'd be like, you know, hey, could you unplug your modem and plug it back in? Can I talk to somebody else? All right, let me get you my supervisor. Can you unplug it and plug it back in? Can I talk to somebody else? All right, let me get you a supervisor. You know, after you tell them your whole life story and social security number to confirm that it's you, like some thief is going to be doing customer service on your behalf, right? So yeah,
I'd love somebody to do that for me.
Hey, every time I steal somebody's wallet that's got their credit cards and stuff in, the first thing I do is go ahead and make sure that all their internet is set up and everything perfectly. Like, I want to make sure that it's working properly for them. It's the least I could do after I take their money, right?
Well, you gotta do the good deed before you do the bad deed, you know?
Right. That's the karmic balance. So anyway, so you're on there and finally, and you just keep telling, can I talk to whoever's above you, please? And then you'll get to some person eventually and they'll be like, okay, what's your issue? And you're like, this issue. And they're like, hold on. And then you hear them clacking a bunch of stuff. And then they're like, okay, it should be good to go. And then it's good to go. And you're like, you're the person that should answer the phone, right? I shouldn't have to get through 2-3 layers of people to get to you. So I know how these things work. And I know that if they send this technician out, the technician's going to come and confirm that I did indeed plug everything in correctly. And now he's going to call that person that I just mentioned that does the click-a-clacka and ask what to do after that. After I wait a day for him to come out there. So I just said fuck it and hung up on this chat. Then I went back to check the outage map again. Guess what the outage map says? There's outages in my area. Yep, in between the time when I'm dealing with the customer service, the map has re-updated to the correct information. So you mean to tell me that they're using the same thing to look at the outage status as I am? This is why there's no reason for you people to exist. You all have to be removed. Even if you're outsourcing this to other call centers in other countries in the world, you can still eliminate that step and just have a couple of more of the click-a-clackas. And then they can answer the phone and immediately solve the problem. And they'll be able to get through more calls in a day that way. But that's wishful thinking. So I'm just like, whatever. Okay, it ain't happening. Impact attack ain't happening. So I just go to sleep. And then like I told Brandon, I was like, I will let you know before 6 o'clock if we're going to go. 6 o'clock here, 9 o'clock there. I wake up, I look over, everything on the modem looks like it's working correctly. Cable box looks like it's displaying the correct hour and minute. So I'm like, I guess we're doing a show. And here we are. So
now entertain.
Yes, that's it. I'm here to entertain you all, and I couldn't have been happier. I wanted to hang out and talk to you guys yesterday, January 1st, see what everybody did. Hope everybody was have fun, play some video games and chat and hang out with you guys. Didn't get to do that. Didn't know if I'd be able to do this, but I wasn't going to miss it if I could. So here I am, and I want to know, as much as I appreciate you guys, all of you guys here now and everybody listening after the fact on the channelattitude.com, whatever, on the podcast version, how much the vet appreciates each and every one of you is the same reason why you can always count on me to deliver a show if I'm going to be physically able to deliver a show. And thanks, Brandon, for putting up with that, with the uncertainty or whatever. And thanks to Big Ray and anybody else who's been my partners along this ride, everybody I've worked with. But I am definitely going to be doing a show if I'm scheduled to do a show, if at all possible. So even if it's a recap show, that doesn't mean that we don't have some stuff to talk to you guys about and some content to provide for those of you and get all of your $4.95 worth. So there's the story. But how are all of you? How are your New Year's? Okay. So let us know how your New Year's was in the chat. And then, Brandon, do you have some interesting gossip or anything for us to talk about today?
Yeah, the pettiness and insecurity of the wrestling business strikes again. Because apparently Max Caster, everybody knows his gimmick, him and the Acclaim, they do their battle raps on their way to the ring. It's, it's they're pretty good at it. Some of them are pretty funny. And just a throwaway line of Jeff Jarrett's a carny who steals money like he steals wives, apparently struck a chord with his wife Karen,
Oh,
who proceeded to go on the ramp, go on Twitter and start naming names of people that Kurt was sleeping with while they were together when he was working at the WWE.
mm.
One of which
Mm.
being Kelly Kelly, who responded saying, "No, he didn't."
Wait,
Essentially,
wait, hold on.
paraphrasing.
Yeah, let me back this up a second. What? She said what now?
That apparently Kurt had been fooling around with her while he was working in the WWE.
She said that.
Yes, and she named another one of the names was Dawn Marie. I believe she also named Maria Kanellis as well. That's the only
Okay.
Maria I can think of anyway.
So she's trying to say that uh it's perfectly okay for she's saying Kurt's messing around on her, right?
Correct. He was messing around on her in the WWE. She was saying that basically their marriage was over before she started dating Jeff.
Okay. Which was according to Kurt was still news to Kurt at that time, even though they weren't necessarily on the best of terms. But
And also apparently Jarrett being dishonest about it.
well, poor Max. He really stepped in it this time, didn't he?
And just working his gimmick. He wasn't even trying to cause any shit.
Yeah.
Just playing his character.
Right. I can almost be sure. Almost. I say almost because I never know. But I I can almost be sure that Max would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna run this by Jeff real quick," and then made sure that everything was okay before he said it. He may not do that to everybody, but he might do it with Jeff. You know, considering there's sensitive material in there or whatever. So I don't know. If you saw Ric Flair's last match, maybe you think Karen thinks it's a work, or maybe you're not sure if she thinks it is or not. I mean, either one could be true, but this is just one of those things where it's like, why? Don't feel personally attacked. Nobody knows these weird things that if you're trying to dish old dirt on your husband or whatever, nobody knows that. You know what I mean? But everybody knows what happened with you, Jeff, and Kurt and TNA at this point. And even if they don't, they're just not going to get that line. So it's not going to, you're just going to blow right past it, right? I don't know, man. Did anybody respond to Karen?
Just Kelly Kelly, who said that is a false statement, that her and Kurt never did anything.
Right. Yeah. I think she was more involved with a certain Guardian of the Galaxy. I remember hearing like a story about Batista complaining that Kelly Kelly was like too immature.
I heard she went through several stages of evolution.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah. So complaining that somebody that's like almost 30 years younger than you is too immature is a little bit, I don't know, immature, don't you think?
Yeah, and it's also, who's the one, like, why would you, if you're doing territory, why are you messing around with that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But well, that's pretty funny.
Stay classy, professional wrestling.
Yeah. Well, Kelly Kelly was a lovely young lady. I had the pleasure of working with her just a tiny bit because she and Alicia Fox were sent down to OVW right after they got signed, and Kelly Kelly was pulled up to the road in like a week, and Alicia Fox was down there for like several more weeks because she wasn't a white blonde. So they took their time. But just in case if you ever try to give WWE the benefit of the doubt as a company, I can give you firsthand instances of how things really work there. But yeah. Well, hopefully Jeff went home and talked her down a little bit. But how about that Jeff Jarrett, huh? Ain't he great?
He is the chosen one.
You've been watching him over there on. He's got a singles match, I think, against Max Caster this week. So this will put this in a whole different light. Watching it a little bit.
He knows how to stay employed.
Yep. I like Jeff Jarrett. I never liked him until, he got out of wrestling. But then that just makes me think like, well, he was probably just doing his job the best he could all these years, if that's how I felt about him. If all I wanted was for him to go away and never come back, he was probably the perfect heel. We should all like to be Jeff Jarrett. But yeah. So, Wednesday night, Dynamite. Max Caster versus Jeff Jarrett. Be there. That's all I can say about that. Any other fun tidbits before we talk about the less fun tidbit?
Yeah, I think we got kind of maybe a year end of where are they? Milk Carton Minute. Where have you guys been at?
Oh, who's appearing on the carton this week?
Of course, still missing in action is Killer Kelly.
Oh yeah, right.
And Chelsea Green, who's been missing since she walked out after that loss to Mickie James.
The rumors are that she's going to go to the WWE. Rumors are. And, obviously at this time of year, people start thinking, well, if you're going to debut, you got to debut in the Rumble, right? So I don't look forward to Chelsea Green debuting to no pop and no reaction at the Royal Rumble. I think that's cruel. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. Anybody else?
We got W. Morrissey, who we now know is in AEW.
Big Bill.
Seriously, Big Bill, are you kidding me?
Nope. I'm not kidding you. Well, they might be kidding you, but I'm not kidding you.
Most creative thing I could think of. Maybe next week they'll introduce his tag team partner, Little Bill.
Little Bill. Or Mr. Bill.
Oh no!
They can have the Mr. Bill mascot. That'd be great.
Yeah, and then their opponents is managed by Sluggo.
Yeah, so I think okay. Well, we know where Morrissey is, but he had been missing for a while. Maybe we knew where he was before we started the milk carton segment, but nonetheless, we just thought we'd throw him on there so he felt included.
D'Lo Brown. We have not seen him since Slammiversary.
That's right. Slammiversary. Well, D'Lo, we know he's more of like a backstage type person now, and he's a producer and he's working behind the scenes, and he's no longer on commentary for whatever reason, probably because he wasn't that good at it, even though I enjoyed D'Lo Brown. He was and in the early days of Impact Attack, he clearly ripped off we were calling Impact Attack the Moose Moose, and sometimes I would just say whole sentences like just moose, 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 moose. And he stole that for one of his things, and I have proof. And if you don't believe me, I'll tweet it back out and remind everybody what D'Lo Brown stole from me. So he's clearly probably one of the people that's a fan of the Impact Attack, and he's probably been encouraging everyone to turn off the damn lights. And he's probably been getting shouted down, and until recently, and he finally got through to everyone. So I'm just gonna say that D'Lo Brown will always be over on or off camera here at the Impact Attack.
And then after D'Lo, we got our buddies, the Aussie Open. Where have they been? We saw him lose to, what was it, Motor City Machine Guns, and they just disappeared? Or was it that four-way match? I don't remember.
It was a shit, I don't remember. I think it was a straight up tag team match. They lost. But they're under contract with New Japan, so they were only on a tour for a short period of time in the States, and they were working the World Tag League all a month ago. So they're gonna be at Wrestle Kingdom probably, but if not, they'll bounce back and forth with their American and Japanese New Japan gigs. So they were only there for a short time.
And then last but not least, Molly Bali Shera. Where has he been?
Isn't he like an OVW champion or something? I mean, I don't know. It's like he only stops in for Impact when he needs to for like a paycheck or whatever. Him and Raj Singh, because you don't see Raj Singh without him.
Right,
really.
He's been missing too.
Yeah, so I don't know, but some of those we have answers for. Others remain a mystery. We could say, we can put up the big poster that says "Found Big Bill" or "Found Aussie Open." Or probably we didn't find D'Lo, but I think we know where his whereabouts are. Most likely, he hasn't. But yeah, as far as the other ones, there are question marks. So I don't know what happened to Killer Kelly. I don't know what's going to happen with Chelsea Green. Just don't know. But that's why we stay tuned to watch, right? So yeah, all right. Well, I guess we should probably talk about Don West.
Oh shit! I completely forgot about that. Fuck.
Yeah.
Probably because of just how bad it was, man. That's.
Yeah. So, of course, Don West passed away. When was it? It was a few days ago now. December 30th. And he had been, he'd been diagnosed with cancer. According to this thing I have here, it says a lymphoma of the brain. So yeah, he was diagnosed in June, and he'd been doing his best, but it may have been too late diagnosed or something. I don't want to speculate on it, but I'm glad that the pain is over, because I couldn't imagine what that would be like. So of course, Impact fans would know Don West for being like a pitchman on TNA, even though that's what he did before. I mean, I don't think they may have known. A lot of people didn't know who he was. Like, I didn't know who he was. Some people did. But I guess, he started with TNA and he would sell like merchandise and stuff like that. But he was also on the first TNA pay-per-view on commentary as well. So I just know I was thinking like, who's this other guy? You know what I mean? Like, that's always screaming and stuff.
There's more of a bit of a backstory to that as well. Apparently, from what I understand, his kind of connection and getting connected to the Jarretts was, from what I understand, Russo tried to get him hired at WCW.
Yeah, he wanted him to join WCW because of his work on sports, like a sports talk radio show. He was like working on one of those shows, and I guess Russo heard it and wanted to bring him in, and he was like, nah. And then the company got bought. So, but yeah, but before that, he was like, Shop at Home Network was the thing. And They had like a sports collectibles show, I think called Sports Collectibles, that he did, but it was all that kind of stuff.
And only
Like
the big one was baseball cards.
yeah, it was like he did a lot of other things too. Like well, let's see, I'm looking here, and it's saying like knives, like one of those things. And then he finally, so it actually says he didn't get the job at the Shop at Home Network at first because of his voice. That's according to this Wikipedia thing. But he eventually got the job, like in like 2 years later or something. So I mean, basically, yeah, they did the Shop at Home thing, and then they went to TNA, and he did a lot of work there that most of us saw. If you're a fan of Impact Attack, I mean, a fan of Impact Wrestling, like you would have seen Don for like all those years. Even there was a time when they turned him heel, which was probably, I remember that being terrible at the time. But it's not like I blame Don or anything, It's just
I get the logic in like because he was such a good salesman and you needed him to kind of be the guy selling the merch at the live events. But he was so funny and entertaining and great on the mic as a heel announcer.
yeah.
Like
I mean, because he wasn't acting the same as he was before, so it was interesting and different. I don't know if I'm not gonna argue that it was right to do, but I don't blame the people for trying to make chicken salad and lemonade. I can't fault the people for that. So. So
and it's
yeah,
a shame,
so.
and it's a shame that his run as Amazing Red's manager got cut short.
Is it a shame? I'm not sure it's a shame. It is a mercy thing. But yeah, so it's unfortunate that these things happen. But Don West will always be synonymous with TNA. Like that's what people are gonna think when they think about him, and it's gonna be in a positive way, despite the Amazing Red managing and the heel turn announcing. I mean, just the fact that he was a great guy that you never heard anybody say anything bad about, other than whatever wrestling related shit.
But again, it's and any of the wrestling related shit you got to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take that 2007 Wrestling Observer Award for Worst Announcer with a grain of salt. Because even if that's the case, why do you have an award set up for that? Come on, man. Show some respect, Dave. Come on. Even all those years ago, like, we should have known. So yeah, Don West.
May he rest in peace.
Let's hope that he rests in peace. But we, on the other hand, I guess we can talk about. And while we're talking about this, I just want to put this out. Whatever you guys want to talk about, once we're finished talking about this TNA episode for 10 minutes. Whatever you guys want to talk about, get your New Year's stories ready, get your questions ready, get anything ready. I've already seen at least one question, but that was about Monday Night Football. But save it for the end. Think of some things to ask about that you want to know, and we'll try to pad this out a little bit more towards the end of it. We've already gotten 40 minutes out of this, so. This will be another 10, and then we'll have another 30 or 40 that we'll be able to give to you if you like. So this was a recap show.
And yes, the CIA does fix our elections. Yes, Canada Spaceman.
That's right.
Because we got to remember, the Saudi royal family has they're tight and shit.
Yeah. However, these the 2X referring to my hammies, those hammies are real, even though I still don't have my hammies from last year, but that's all right. So anyway, this was a recap show, and they basically went over some of the what they call the best moments, and they handed out some little awards. They actually made these little plaques. Like, God, you want to talk about having no budget, but you're gonna make plaques for this bullshit? So anyway, yeah. So the first thing they open with is the match from Hard to Kill of last year, with Moose versus Morrissey. And then
And Cardona.
And Cardona? Yeah. That wasn't the official match, was it?
It was a 3-way.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Very memorable, I guess. So there was that, and then they showed from the same show they had Deanna versus Mickey, and their thing, and then they gave an award for Knockout of the Year, which was Jordan Grace. She gave a generic speech accepting the award. Then they went to Rebellion, where it was Josh Alexander versus Moose for the championship that Josh Alexander won, and then they went for the X Division Star of the Year, and that was won by Speedball Mike Bailey. And then after this was probably the only really genuinely interesting part of the show, even if it was interesting or not. But after Bailey gives his little generic babyface speech about he's going to continue to work hard or whatever, then we get a video from Kenny King. Like, so he already has a video, and he knew that that Mike Bailey won this award. He must have known ahead of time, so maybe he did fix the election. But yeah, he had a video ready to go for this, and where he mocks Speedball for winning the award and everything from his, what I presume is his apartment, because he's got a big picture of Christopher Wallace hanging on the wall, and there's a cat meowing in the background. So very professional. But yeah, so that was our first piece of, I mean, not counting the speeches, that's our first original content piece here that they stuck in here. So what did you think of Kenny King's mocking congratulations for Mike Bailey?
Well, if I'm Mike Bailey, I'm calling up some friends and saying, hey, Kenny King just on TV, on video, said he's coming to pay me a visit. I'm going to be gone. I need to come in and break in and steal some shit. And I'm going to say it was Kenny King who stole it. So I got video evidence of him saying he's coming to my house.
Well, all right. So then we get the Slamversary Ultimate X. That'll show you what how Speedball won the championship. And then they give the award for the men's Tag Team of the Year to the Motor City Machine Guns, which is comprised of all-time professional wrestling great and mentor to everyone in this generation, Alex Shelley. He should be on everyone's Mount Rushmore of Motor City Machine Gun members. And then, of course, you had Goldberg, but only from the period of like 98, where he was beating everybody and won the United States and World Heavyweight Championships. Only that Goldberg, not the tased Goldberg, not the Goldberg that was crushing Sid's junker station wagons in the parking lot in WCW. Just the one that was winning. That's the other half of the Motor City Machine Guns. So congratulations to those guys. Do you have any congratulatory words for the guns?
Congratulations.
That's excellent. Then they show the Slammiversary Originals versus Honor No More 10-man tag from Slammiversary. And then we get another piece of original content, although it's from Joe Hendry, and it concerns challenging Moose for at Hard to Kill for he's challenging Moose to challenge for his own digital media championship. And considering all the parties involved, this couldn't have been any more boring. This was like as boring as Mike Bailey's acceptance speech. So, any comment on it? No? Okay, all right. All right, the Knockouts Tag Team of the Year was the Death Dolls. So they had to make
who else could it have been?
I don't know, whoever else had belts in 2022, and they made three plaques. You know, so there's a little bit more money down the drain. What do you think those plaques cost each?
Honestly, probably not much because there's like you could really go down to any shop and get those made.
Well, yeah, but you know, prices have gone up recently with inflation and everything. So
yeah, plus the wood and then lumber and wood is kind of expensive.
Yeah, that wood's got to be a minimum $30, right?
Good point.
Just to pick out your wood, and then you gotta like finish it, and they probably already have finished plaques there. But then you still gotta get the personalized metal nameplates. Like, yeah, these things had to be $50 if they got them like at a super deal, you know. So yeah, so you spent $150 to tell them that they won a fake award that like 600 fans voted on or something. Congratulations. But the important thing is, with them selling back their lighting equipment on eBay, they were able to easily fund this entire awards ceremony. So it worked out. And then there was is this an award? It's called One to Watch in 2023. The One to Watch Award. So it's like saying Rookie of the Year, but like the next step. Like, okay, you're done being a rookie, but you're still not anybody. So we gotta pay attention to you next year and see if you're worth a fuck.
Yeah, Sophomore of the Year.
Kinda, yeah. That's basically it, right? So that was Bhupinder Gujjar, and then they showed his Victory Road ladder match against Brian Myers. So if you want to relive how unprofessional Brian Myers is in a wrestling ring, where he's just dropping ladders on people's noses and stuff like that, then you can. This is the Impact episode for you. Maybe you didn't get the chance to check out the Victory Road pre-show, which you probably still could if you go to their YouTube channel. Yeah. So anyway, then we're talking about other newcomers, like people that are going to be making debuts in 2023.
Definitely not hard finding morning wood, that is for sure.
Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog saying getting wood isn't that hard. Sorry, had to. You're not sorry. But Anthony Green gives a promo. He's somebody that's coming to Impact. Are you familiar with Anthony Green?
I am not. This is a new person I've never heard of before.
Well, he fucking sucks. So get ready for that. Anthony Green, another one of these guys that's impossibly small and just looks like he's from another era. If this was like, this would be like saying, hey, you know who's going to debut in Impact? What's that guy's name? Peter Avalon. Here comes Peter Avalon. He's going to make a big splash in 2023. So, Peter Avalon, basically. This is basically Peter Avalon. This is the guy you get when you can't. We have Peter Avalon at home. That's basically what this guy is, okay? And then we get a Crazy Steve and Black Taurus promo. They've got some crazy lights, but they're Decay, so they can do that. Also, they're in the stairs again. They like to cut promos in stairs. I didn't listen to what they said. It was something. They were basically just saying stuff about somebody. And then we get the award for Male Wrestler of the Year, which is Josh Alexander, because of course it was. And then they go back to Bound for Glory to go over Josh versus Fat Eddie. And I'm definitely not reliving that. Then when they show a little something about Jonathan Gresham, which I think this is the same footage they showed before, where he says he's signed an Impact contract, so he's going to be around a lot more to deal with Eddie Edwards or something. And then But they already showed that, right? That was on a previous episode, wasn't it?
I think so, or there was some of their digital media, maybe, or like on a Twitter or something.
Yeah. Buckshot Kid, he looks like a shitty 90s Indies guy, probably referring to Anthony Green. Yeah, except back in the 90s, shitty indie guys still thought they had to be like 6'3", and like over 200 pounds, at least that. Now, shitty 2000 and shitty 2000s indie guys, yes. Shitty 2010s indie guys, well, he is. Uh, uh, so, yeah. So anyway, and then they closed out with the match of the year, which was Josh Alexander versus Mike Bailey from like a couple weeks ago when they went like an hour, and there was only 15 minutes left in the show, or less than that, so they certainly weren't going to show the whole match. But that was their match of the year. It wasn't my match of the year. It wasn't even my match of that quarter, probably. I don't know who I would have given match to the year to. I hadn't been keeping track, so we could do our own awards show at the end. But
I like Lab Rat's theory.
Hmm.
I mean, you got Tommy Dreamer back. I'm sure the catering budget's through the roof, so they got to get the smaller guys in there to keep the catering budget down.
I see. That does make sense. However, maybe no guys would even be cheaper than a smaller guy, I think. So. Yeah, so that was your show. And that did take like about 11 or 12 minutes. So, really nothing to comment on. We've got Hard to Kill coming up in a couple of weeks. One thing that this show really reminds us is how Moose started the year versus how he finished the year.
Tragic.
That's one good thing, and by good I mean bad, about how, you can see somebody fall over a period of time, even though Moose did nothing different, but the company just uses him, and it's in a poor state of affairs here, and just impact in general. So I don't know. But other than that, there's really nothing else to.
He was actually represented tonight with a promo from Hendry.
Right. Can't get a promo from him. We have to get the promo, and that makes sense because I think Moose would think it was beneath him to go after a championship such as this. So that's why Hendry has to challenge for his own championship.
Right. That's like if there's just what they've done with Moose. He started the year world champion. Now he's competing for the digital media.
Right.
Tragic. So wrong.
So speaking of tragic, apparently the chat is. I saw Liz make a comment about somebody, I guess in football. Let's look at this. Somebody in critical, Damar Hamlin. What happened? Let's see what happened. We're going live. We're going live to news. So, this is the reason that the football game was suspended? Okay. Bill safety Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field, was administered CPR, and then was taken by ambulance to a local hospital where he is in critical condition, according to the NFL, which postponed the game between Buffalo and the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday night. Let's see. Was collapse following a play? Received oxygen.
I think I might have seen a clip of that. Because, the dude was on the ground and, both teams were dropping down to their knees praying for him.
The injury took place after Hamlin tackled wide receiver T. Higgins and quickly got up afterward. Hamlin then abruptly collapsed with athletic trainers coming to help immediately. A stretcher was immediately brought to the field as athletic trainers protected his head. Wow. So So no one knows what happened then because he was the one that was administering the tackle and then he collapsed. Is that? Liz says Hamlin got tackled, but this article says Hamlin tackled the wide receiver. So this could be something completely unrelated to a field injury. Well, I hope that everything is okay for him. But the question I think I saw Scott Woodford ask about the Monday Night Football game is like, think about it being suspended or postponed or whatever. Well, they usually don't do that kind of stuff. Usually the game goes on. So I'm not sure what the difference would be here, but at the end of the day, like, I don't give a shit about some football game. A human being's life is more important at any point in time. So if they feel they need to, postpone the game for as long as it takes to get everybody where they need to go and do what they need to do, then yeah, sure. Like what? Like who the hell's gonna care at the end? Like in 100 years, who's gonna care about a postponement of a fucking Monday Night Football game? But of course, when things like this happen, you'll probably see a lot of comments that bring out the worst of humanity. So be on the lookout for those. So yeah. Buckshot Kid, though, he says he would have Moose get every title this year and hold them all at the same time. It's like an Ultimo Dragon thing. Of course, I would like to do that. Just have him win the Knockouts Championship. Why not? Why shouldn't he? I mean, Jordan Grace competed in a men's division multiple times in 2022, I want to say, right? So,
ooh, man, that kind of reminds me of an extremely controversial idea I have for an angle. Extremely controversial.
Yeah. Well, they need something. They need some controversy. And Moose can say things like, what? I'm not a knockout? You don't think I'm sexy? Like...
Funny was they actually did something like this, like the very early days of TNA, where they had like the Miss TNA title, and they had Alan Funk Kwee as a gay guy named Bruce wrestling for it.
That's funny, right? Well, you had a gay gimmick in another company, so you just have one here.
Oh yeah, same time as Billy and Chuck.
Yeah, why not? So yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what they're gonna do with Moose. I don't know what Moose is gonna do. I feel like Moose has a good attitude about it. I think he's probably only worried that his check clears, and as long as it does, then he'll continue to be loyal to Impact Wrestling. I want more from Moose, but at the same time, what do you do? Like, where is he gonna go? This is going to happen no matter where he goes. That's the problem. WWE and AEW are overcrowded. They've got like refugee lines of people waiting to get in. And just because they should immediately bring him in and do something with him, that's not the reality of what's going to happen. We can always say he needs to go here, he needs to go there, but what's going to happen? It's be the same thing. If you're on Impact and you're on television, that's like almost the same as just being signed by AEW and them not using you. It's really almost equivalent. The only thing that's better is probably the AEW check is bigger. But I don't think anybody wants to just collect a check for nothing. I'm sure Moose doesn't. I'm sure there's some people that might. But I don't think Moose would be one. I think he wants to earn his money. He likes to work hard. So, yeah. Knowing Impact, they would have Swinger beat Moose for the title. Yeah. While Moose is winning all those titles, Swinger will win his 50 matches, and then he'll go over on Moose finally, because Moose is a team player, right? So yeah. If you guys, if there's anything else that you guys would like to talk about for a few minutes, now's the time. And I'm stalling for you. I've been stalling. So go ahead and throw anything out there that you like. I'm trying to think. What would be a good thing? What is the most important thing that you think Impact needs to do now that thanks to us, they've gotten rid of the music underneath the live interviews, and they don't have the lights in the back anymore, at least for this past set of tapings. We'll have to see if that continues, because I'm not ready to, I'm ready to accept the unconditional surrender, but I'm still not sure that there aren't conditions, so I'm waiting to see on that. But what would you say is an important step? Maybe not even the most important, but what is an important step that Impact Wrestling needs to make as a company if they want to grow outside of this very small niche audience that they have?
More vignettes, more stuff outside of the ring, more character development outside of the ring.
Well, that's, but again, there's a Buckshot Kiss has a diet plan. If that, but doesn't that just fall into a case of like, if a tree falls in the forest, like, obviously anybody that has better production values, yeah, get on a real TV station, maybe. That's going to be hard to get it. The problem is getting a TV station to want them. It's cheap content. What's a TV station that needs some content that doesn't want to pay any money? What are those channels? What even are those channels, like Ion Television? Like, do they want wrestling?
The Ocho?
The Ocho? No, like the, but like a like it used to be like the CW and the WB and the UPN and like those like not quite a real networks. And now there's like stuff like Ion or whatever. There's like basic television, but I mean, what could they, somebody want a live sporting content program instead of just reruns of NCIS? Like, there's got to be somebody that wants it. MeTV. MeTV is like, what? Can you imagine if MeTV is like, they just have Impact Wrestling on it? Yeah, Ion plays all the crime shows and they could play wrestling in the primetime hours. That'd be good.
True TV.
Buckshot says they should go on PBS. No, those, like, True TV that's cable again. They're not gonna get on cable. Like, that's not gonna get seen, dude. Raw's on cable and they can't even get 2 million anymore. Cable's dying. The SmackDown only has the numbers they have because they're on Fox, free Fox, over the air Fox. If SmackDown was on the USA Network still, I guarantee you they'd be also in the under 2 million range, because people are just giving up on cable. It's just happening. It's just a fact. I know everybody wants to tell you that that's not the case, and I know they like to bring up other shows and other things to say that they're not dead, but cable's dead. You're not going to grow an audience on cable. They're on cable. Okay? They're on cable, but they're not on a channel that I get. And despite the fact that I just cut a 20-minute promo on Comcast, they are the biggest cable company in the world, and they don't carry access television. So I think they've got to figure out a way to get on a smaller. I don't care if it's like the Spanish network. Just get out there somewhere where more people can see you. Or they seem to have like a small dedicated group that follows. I think they've just gone to like the YouTube monetization route of things, where you like sign up for your monthly $4.99 subscription and like all that. I'm sure that's good. I mean, you're going to get more people on YouTube than you will on cable. But that's the thing. The stigma. So says G4. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, they're on DAZN. No one has that. No one cares about that. That's another premium streaming service that no one's going to want to buy. And a lot of those are for like international markets. So maybe, but I think YouTube's still international, so they don't even need that. There's people that cut deals with other things for like international distribution, like MLW and BN Sports or stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Television's dead in general. I don't know if there is any hope for them. There's no hope for Impact. Sorry, Impact. Sorry, D'Lo. I know you're listening and reporting back, but what does Javi say? I have cable since it's cheaper to bundle with the internet, but besides certain sports games, I also watch all my TV on the internet as well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what more people are going to do. And the only people that are still watching television as television are old and hurt and fucking tired and work with fucking children, and they're all like they all fall asleep in front of their TVs. That's the only time wrestling gets any numbers, because they were watching Big Bang Theory and then they fell asleep. Because only an old person would think Big Bang Theory is funny or represents any kind of a nerd culture. So they fall asleep, and then AEW gets an overrun. And then when they wake up and turn the TV off, that's when you see all the numbers drop. And then same thing with Raw. Like, what's on right before Raw? Everybody knows. You know, right, Brandon?
NCIS?
Almost. The original. Law and Order. Law and Order SVU. So old people are watching that and they fall asleep, and that's how Raw gets 1.7 million, because they forgot to turn off the TV. It's like, yeah, there's no hope for television. But of course, TV networks and cable networks, they're still in that business, so they want content. They're like trying to think, even as they dip their fingers in the streaming pie, they still want to have their pie and eat it too. So they still got their channels. They want people to watch their channels. But they know where the future's headed. So they've already started hedging their bets that way. They want you to sign up for Hulu. They want you to sign up for, whatever bullshit things they got. Paramount Plus, Peacock. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Disney owns, which it's like CBS probably is CBS Paramount Plus. Is that them? Or like, they got to have their own. No, they have their own streaming service of some kind. I forget what it's called. That's where you would get like the Star Trek shows, like fucking Picard or whatever, or Discovery. CBS's Paramount Plus. Look at Society Reviews coming in hot with the tip. Yep, and Disney is ESPN, Hulu, and Disney Plus, and ABC. Don't forget. So yeah, everybody knows the TV's dead, and they're moving into streaming, but they still want you to watch TV while it's on, and they're gonna want to pay. Or they have been wanting to pay the big premium rights fees contracts to broadcast sports and stuff, and they'll still be doing that for a while, and wrestling will still count as sports. But they're going to move all that shit into streaming eventually. You see it. You see like how Amazon has Thursday Night Football. You know, that's just one step in that direction, and pretty soon it's going to be like Sunday Night Football is going to be on Peacock only. Like you already see it. Like the stuff that you used to get for free, nah, not no more. So, and then if that happens, then they could buy Impact and put that on TV and see if old people will watch that. And they'll see Swinger and they'll be like, hey, I vaguely remember him from WCW. Maybe I'll leave this on while I get ready for bed. You know? I'll leave this on while I brush my teeth or take my dentures out or whatever the fuck you're doing. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, well, that's what you can look forward to in 2023. The death of everything on television. But I guess that's all we have. Bring back Dixie Carter. I mean, if nothing else, she fits a certain demographic, right? She fits that MILF demographic, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
She needs to bring back and lead her own stable called Overchurch, Shug.
Overchurch. They can have Impact streaming channel with all the old catalog. At least they have something. Yes, it's called Impact Plus, and it's an app, and you can get it, and you can have Impact wherever you go. I'm sure every time that Brandon's about in the world, whenever he's got a free moment, he whips out the phone and pulls up Impact Plus and starts watching classic matches. Vet, would I play golf with friends? I don't know. Would I? That's not really golf though. That's just like clubs and a hole, and then like in between is like a bunch of wacky bullshit, right? Impact on the Food Channel would bankrupt the food channel. Oh yeah, because they get the crossover. But that would also help eliminate the catering part. It's like if we had if we had Eddie Edwards co-host like one of those, like, I don't know what's on Food Network anymore, but I assume some combination of a pastry and the word wars. If they had Eddie come on and be like a guest judge or co-host or whatever, then he could bring Tupperware, and then they could at least save that money on the catering budget. Cake Wars? Is it on there? Okay, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Yep, but no clubs. No clubs too? What, Jeremy Renner's in the hospital now? What did he shoot himself did he shoot himself with an arrow or something?
No, apparently I think it was like a snowplow accident. He was like plowing his driveway or something, and like something happened. I forgot what it was. I think he might have got hit by a passing car or something. Something I can think of.
Or the gremlins got in the plow and ran him over with it? Maybe Alicia would get to eat finally. Impact YouTube now plays a lot of old pay-per-views, but I just want to watch all of it from only until Hogan Bischoff came in. That's weird. That's a weird take, Candace Spaceman, but that's why you're a you, buddy. Yeah, well, I think that is basically what it is. If you sign up for what you call it, Impact Plus, they should have everything. And I think if you sign up for their YouTube thing, they have everything on there too. And you get a little a badge icon next to your name when you make a comment. We would have that here at Hami Media Group, but his content has gotten us demonetized, so we can't have special badges for you guys. No, he just had to talk about conspiracies. Just had to have the conspiracy horseman. That shit would probably get over now. Now that everything's been, calmed down a little bit. People would probably like conspiracies more. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think we'll end on Jeremy Renner in the hospital. What a great start to the year. What a great start. People collapsing on Monday Night Football. People getting hit with gremlins and a snowplow. Fucking me with the cable and the internet and the stuff and things. Terrible. So, but yeah, you can find me though. If you can find me, if the internet's working, you can always find me at all the social media platforms as long as your internet's working. I may not be able to respond, but I will definitely still be there eventually. At Opinion Haver, you just type that in and see where it leads you, and you'll be able to tell if it's me. You'll know it's me. And you can follow me wherever you feel like, and including twitch.tv/Opinion Haver, in which you can hang out and ask all the questions you didn't get to ask tonight or any other time. And, as we hang out and play games. Again, if my internet works. And you can catch me on the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez. We're going to have a special guest this week, I think. Just trying to confirm it, so I don't want to announce anything. But I'm looking forward to it. And even if we don't get our guest this week, we're going to get the guest. And we're going to have a great show this week. As well. And you can also find me sometimes on the Wrestling with Rip Rogers live Q&As. I was just on this past Friday with Lilas and Rip, and we were just talking about some stuff and some Mandy Rose and some old OVW Battle Royals, Matt Morgan. So, check that out. Those do remain up on YouTube for free. So go and give that channel a subscribe and a like and a comment and a whatever. You never know when the vet will pop in there. And
yep, live from the penitentiary.
Yeah, it's definitely not, and I would never. And you would get demonetized for typing his name into if we weren't already demonetized. So yeah, that's where you can find me, and I think I remembered everything. Unfortunately, I do believe the Stevie Richards fitness deal is over, but it's never too late to just go ahead and check out the website anyway. And if you're a fat Eddie in 2022, maybe you want to be an Alicia in 2023. So then you can head on over to Stevie Richards Fitness and check him out. And all his programs and deals and affiliate links and other things. He'll get you better. Steve Richards will take care of you. He'll do that. And that's all I got. But Brandon, where can the people find you these days?
As always, the same usual places on Twitter at TransArchisTia, as well as Twitch at Miss Tia the Transarchist. And this week I will be getting back to the streams, finally.
All right, a lot of more Warcraft stuff going on.
You've got a lot of shit I need to get done to get ready for Older War. It should be dropping pretty soon. Next content phase.
All right, that's right. You got to play like it's 2003. So with that being said, that's going to end our show for tonight. For Brandon, I've been the vet, and I don't have a sign-off line. Happy New Year, everyone.